morning. Welcome to day 4, final day. Hope you're having a great week so far. We'll jump right in, and it's my pleasure to welcome Dr. Grant Brummel. He's a senior fellow at NETL, and he's going to share some insights into the lab and have some time for your engagement and questions. So without further ado, Grant, thank you very much for being here, and the stage is yours.
Thanks, Alan. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Hey, that's better. Okay. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit this morning. I'm from NETL, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my experiences there and some of my experiences in programs like yours and how I got to the position I'm in and the kinds of things that we do there. And so my title is Senior Fellow. I work in the geosciences area. I see there are a number of presentations coming up later today. I'm looking forward to seeing those. They're going to talk about some of the work that's going on in fracturing, hydraulic fracturing, and in the CO2, using the CO2 screen tool and some other things like that. So I'm excited to see those. I've actually worked with a number of Mickey Leland students as a mentor over the past several years since I've been at NETL, and so I really am excited to be here and get a chance to talk to you about what I've done and the people that I've worked with since I've been here. And so I'm actually really jealous of you guys, because when I think back to this time in my life, I actually had an opportunity to work in a similar program, not with the Department of Energy, but with NASA. And I worked at the Goddard Space Flight Center, a 10-week program, and what we were doing there, or what my project, my summer project was there, was to take satellite data that was looking back at the Earth and to help process that based on some ground truthing information and find out ways to map, to basically create the functions that told you how to interpret the satellite information. And so I just want to tell you a little story about what happened when I was there. So I got there. The first week, as you guys probably experienced, it was mostly getting things set up, getting onto the Unix system, back then, and they got my VAX password, so nobody Google VAX and find out how long ago this actually was that I was there. Got my username and password set up, got everything in the system, got a small sample data set to do a test on, and then I was supposed to generate an algorithm that would help me interpret this information, and then for the next several weeks, couple months, to use that algorithm to sort of interpret the data and present what I found. So on that Friday, the research associate who was working with my PI gave me that sample data set, gave me the information I needed to do the work, and then he took off for 3 weeks. He was from Europe. He took off for a 3-week vacation to Europe, was going to be unreachable for those 3 weeks. And I said, okay, great, I've got this data set. So I spent Monday and Tuesday of the next week working on developing the algorithms that I needed to test this data. I ran on the test data set. I said, okay, it works. Now I need to process the data with it. So I went to the folder on the system where all the data was supposed to be, and I realized that on Friday they had done had a crash in the system, that the data that had been put there that day hadn't gone in there, and so it wasn't available for me. So I went to my PI and said, hey, do you have this data? I need it. The research associate, he left. He went to Europe for 3 weeks. And he said, unfortunately, no. So for 3 weeks, I ended up doing something completely different. So I had a second project in the middle there, and I got a chance to look for lightning strikes in cloud cover and try to correlate the information there. So, but when the guy did come back from Europe, I got the data set and was able to process things, and we got a nice project out of it. So I just want to let you know that even if your experience for research doesn't go smoothly, and just a hint, it never goes totally smoothly. Okay, you can still make the most of it. You can still get a good experience out of it, and you can still end up doing well. And so I got a chance to work with some of these people from NASA again, but in the end, I ended up working here at DOE and NETL. And so what I recommend to people who are potentially interested in research careers, one of the big things is exactly what you guys are doing, which is join a program like this, get a chance to experience research firsthand to see if you like it. Because if you like it, if you enjoy this experience, then find a way to do it. Because I can guarantee you there is a need in this country for researchers across all the engineering and science disciplines. And so you will be able to find something to do if you like this. If you don't like it, it's good to find that out too, and to try to find something else to do. So I definitely encourage you to keep, excuse me. Wow, okay. Maybe I shouldn't try that. How many PhDs does it take to pour a glass of water? So the other experience that I had that I like to talk about is when I was in graduate school. And so I had a fellowship for the first 3 years of my graduate studies. After those 3 years, I was working on a PhD project. I needed to find funding, and so often, you'll have an opportunity. You'll have an advisor, and they will they'll have a project for you, and they'll have funding that comes along with that project. Oh, thank you. And they'll have funding that comes along with that project. And so, obviously, I encourage you to take that route. But I also encourage you to look. So one of the things that I did when I was in graduate school is after my 3-year fellowship, so I was able to work on the problems that I wanted to for these 3 years of a fellowship that I had. And then for the last couple